And welcome to another episode of More Conversations with the Average Black Man. I am Timothy Hughes, and I have my co-host Morphine.
You said that so like
Yeah, it's one of them days. It's just one of them days that a boy goes through. But I'm
uh
angry inside.
yo, my co-host is having one. But again, welcome with more excitement, enthusiasm
Yes,
to
yes.
another more conversations with the average black man. Timothy is wake up. He's tired today. He wasn't with it. Our show today is facts over feelings. You gonna say you feel some type of way about some ish, and we gonna spit out the facts on you, and we want to research some things, and talk to them, talk about them, research them. We with the shits and calling cap.
So let's. I want to come out the gate with something we were just talking about right now.
All right, all
We were
right.
just, we was talking about this backstage before we went live. Just talking about this right here, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So facts or feelings. There's a certain group of people that think my man is a pookie
Why do they think he's a pookie though? Like,
because she a billionaire and he not. I guess, and he rap about drugs and alcohol.
uh, well, isn't she a pookisha?
I don't
Cause
know.
she think about twerking and bitch better have my money. So don't they belong to each other? This is not like this was a Whitney Houston moment where everybody thought that she was just the all what is it, Trinidadian girl, and nah, bro, she was hood. Hood people like hood people.
Yeah. I don't know. I'd say, in my opinion, this gives me modern day Oprah and Stedman vibes. You know what I
Really?
mean? It gave me Oprah and Stedman because only difference is she want to have babies and Oprah did.
Yeah,
That's
but
that
this man got his own money though.
right. And so did Stedman. Stedman was like a doctor or a lawyer or something. He didn't have Oprah Winfrey money. Like
But
same thing. Same
aren't
thing.
they married though? Because Stedman wasn't married.
Never married Stedman. She just
Yeah, she.
strung him along.
But Rihanna and Rocky got married though.
Not married. No.
Well, how we know? I think they got married, bro.
Fact over feelings. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let me pull up.
I think they got married though. If you
Pull up.
ask me,
Pull up the Nick City. Boom.
they
All
are
right.
married.
All right.
Is Rihanna and Rocky Aesop married? Because I believe they are. As of the last update of ASAP, who was real name blah blah blah, was not married. However, please note that the celebrity relationship status can change. That's 22. We 4 years in.
Hey, how you spell her name, man?
RIN. Yeah, there you go. Is he married, Mariana?
There are no reports
Ah,
of man.
I'm gonna ask Google.
Oprah
I don't
instead.
believe you. Let's look it up.
Yeah, look it up. Oprah went. See, just like with
They
Stedman.
brought up Oprah.
Oprah not married. That's what I'm saying. That's what I said. It gives me Oprah and Stedman vibes. She a whole billionaire. The only difference is that Rihanna wanted to have kids. So they was already cool and homies. So she know who he is. She know he gonna be a good daddy, and he get to live a billionaire life as long as he don't, as long as he act right. You know what I'm saying?
I asked. All right, so I'm gonna share my screen real quick.
Right.
Let me share this. They gonna say people most asked questions. It says, "Who is Rihanna's husband now?" Rihanna and her longtime friend ASAP Rocky became much more than friends about 3 years ago. They're welcoming their first child, but it doesn't say, you know, it don't say nothing that's recent. I guess you're right, brother. Like facts over feelings. They not married. They ain't announced it.
Yep, there it is. That's the first one down.
Yep, they ain't married, bro. They ain't announced that. They ain't announced that at all. All right, well, there's that.
One down.
One down, many to go. Many facts over feelings to go.
Yep. What we
Want to
got
go
over?
to the notes?
Yeah. Is marriage beneficial to men? Because right now there's a whole group of men talking about marriage is not beneficial to men because they don't get nothing out of it, and women get everything in a divorce.
You. All right, well, how many men? My thing is this: how many men get alimony in a divorce? Is it a high rate of men getting divorced? And well, we know that, but is it a high rate of men giving out alimony at their marriage? I don't think it is because a lot of us get married and we don't be having shit, so we don't be accumulating shit neither. So only thing we did accumulate is probably a house out of that
If that,
relationship,
most people relationships they just got a car and
right?
clothes.
Car, clothes. Like I don't.
All right. The question of whether or not marriage is beneficial to men can vary greatly depending on individual circumstances, personal preferences, and the dynamics of the specific relationship. There are some potential benefits to consider. Potentially, emotional support. All right, there we go. Emotional support would be something that is beneficial to men to get married. Because the question right now is there's a lot of men saying, is marriage beneficial for men because men lose in the divorce and they lose the kids, they lose the house, they lose their last pair of drawers, So they try. But this is what's interesting though is that the same men that say marriage is not beneficial also champion the idea of getting a passport and going somewhere else and getting married.
And getting married, which
All
is,
while
you know,
marriage is not beneficial. So I'm I'm confused.
I'm
I'm
confused.
right.
It is
Help.
marriage. So I think the better statement to say is marriage is not beneficial in America for them, not for all men, but for those who feel that it is not beneficial to men. So I would say that that's something I would put that out there. If fellas out there agree to that, we could go on that.
But beneficial to them what outside? So what they gonna leave the country and stay over there? Because if they come back and it's like what Eddie Murphy said, Eddie, I want to talk to you. You
I
treat me
need
like
half.
you treat
You
me
treat
like
me like animal.
I need half, Eddie. I am American woman now.
I need half.
I need half. You know what I
I
mean?
would think they have talked about that as well. It talked about how they wouldn't bring their women over here to get influenced by American women. So they would keep them
Oh,
over there where they at,
it's, it
and
says
hopefully
on
them
here.
women don't cheat on them.
Here's the
So why
financial.
they going back and forth?
Financial stability says marriage can provide a sense of financial security through shared expenses, combined incomes, and potential tax benefits. Additionally, married men benefit from having a partner to help manage finances and plan for the future. Social support.
Is
Marriage can
spending and manage the same thing?
that's a good social
Well,
support. Marriage can, it's a social system through connections with spouse and family and friends. That's great. Parenting. I think my daughter's asking me something. Hold it down for me, sis, real quick.
don't worry. Parenting for men who desire children. Marriage can provide a stable environment for raising family and sharing parenting responsibilities. And let me say this again. Parenting for men who desire children. Marriage can provide a stable environment for raising a family and sharing parenting responsibilities. Because I know for the manosphere, this is a gender responsibility. And, it says that y'all should be sharing it. So there's that.
I've battled back and forth with ChatGPT in trying to get it to make a distinction between what a man offers a child versus what a woman offers a child.
Yeah.
It doesn't make a distinction. So this whole shared responsibility, yeah, both men and women need to share the responsibility, but I'm a firm believer under 7, that child's all yours.
You got
Over
to
7
remember though.
though,
You got to remember though,
that's
Maurice.
when the father really needs to step in. I heard somebody say specifically that a father's job is to seduce the child away from the mother, and the mother's job is to allow the child to be seduced by the father.
What in the
But
world?
it only needs to be
You got to
happening.
also remember though that Chat GPT and Meta AI and all the other AIs, they are programmed to be feminist friendly,
Of course, of course, of course.
right? Because
I
all
don't think it's a feminist um
that's why
that sentence that I keep reading that says parenting for men desire children. Marriage can provoke a stable environment for raising a family and sharing parenting responsibility. I don't think that is a feminist view.
it's not.
It's not.
Well, actually, it is because
Well,
it's a feminist view in the sense that feminists say, "Oh, he want me to go to work and do all this, and still come home and and take care of the baby, and come home and do
It's
all
not
the."
talking about, no, we're just talking about sharing parenting responsibilities. That's
yeah, but
it.
it's a feminist view. I'm gonna tell you why it's a feminist view. It's because the feminist idea is there's no difference between a man and a woman. That's a feminist view. So the whole concept when
There's,
it ingrained in sharing parenting responsibilities,
yeah,
ain't no man breastfeeding a child.
not all women breastfeed. So now what?
That's
Oh,
a whole
not all
nother
men holding
conversation.
a bottle now. Not all men pushing a
No, no,
stroller
that,
or strapping the
no, that's a
baby
whole different
down to them.
conversation.
Like not all men going shopping with babies or changing a diaper. Like these are parenting things. Helping with homework, all that.
Well,
No, I mean,
Teaching
okay,
the baby
okay.
colors, teaching the
that's a
baby
I mean, we
to breathe.
can we
Like
make a
these are
distinction between an
parenting. Like
infant
there's no gender
and
requirement on
like a
that.
child?
Wait, hold
Yeah,
on. I'm sorry,
can we
Mark.
make a distinction? Yeah, no, sorry, sorry. Can we make a distinction between like an infant and then like a a grown child?
A grown
Because
child?
an infant requires pretty constant attention from their mother. That's the best scenario. If mother is not available, yes, we have other options, right? But the mother really does need to be attentive to that child. Like there's all types of chemicals and hormones and all types of stuff. I mean, if you evolutionarily speaking, the mother, there was actually a trade-off. Like the human baby is probably the most dependent child of all the entire animal kingdom because literally there was like this trade-off on it being born early because the head was so big to be able to fit through the mother's pelvis. So it had to be
What I'm
born early
saying
in order to
is,
be able to get out. And now this child is more, it needs to actually fit. It's basically the first year of that child's life is like the rest of its actual development that it should be in the womb.
Well, okay, but I will say this: outside of breastfeeding, which not a large number of women do. It's not,
Which is
I
unfortunate,
don't know
but that's what
why.
happens.
I'm not going to get deep into why we don't, but it's many
'Cause
reasons.
I know.
It's many reasons. A lot of us can't produce milk, and
So
it's a lot
excuses.
going on with that,
Yeah, got
huh?
little tits and all that type of stuff.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah, like
so
for
excuses.
especially for us with little boobs, producing milk is very, very hard to do, and continuously to produce milk is hard to do. And I wasn't breastfeeding after 3 months anyway, so I was over that. Um,
Hmm.
After that, we're talking about the parenting responsibilities of raising a child. I wouldn't go from infant, let's go from toddler to grade school. There is a lot of responsibilities. There's a lot of teaching that goes on, from potty training to colors to teaching them how to spell, teaching them the ABCs. These are the things that parents are supposed to be tag teaming and doing. There's no gender limitation on teaching your children.
All right. So this one right here, I just pulled up, is the flip side of that. Because there's
Right.
women that say marriage is not serving of women. There's no point. I can do it by my why get married? I can do it by myself. Why go half and half? If we go 50-50, that's a roommate. I might as well, But as we just saw in the other side, it clearly said for men, like, hey, shared expenses and planning for the future is a good thing, right? That
Yeah.
just to me, logically, that makes sense, because if we look at, we could pull these stats up later, the median income of all races in the United States, both black men and women are at the bottom of that tier. And when you look at the group of poverty, we're there too. So if we can get past it, if hypothetical in a, this is my rain, this is my imagination rainbow here. If we can if we can
All right, SpongeBob.
in a good world where there's an imagination,
It only talk about it got the same
it's the same thing. It's saying the
but
same thing.
it's just difference is the money. It added a combined income potential tax benefits
It's the,
additional to marriage to women.
look. When I go up to men and you get
Oh,
your
it
money,
said too. It said the same shit. Okay.
it say the same damn thing.
It
The
said the same
same
shit.
the same benefits that's for men are for
It's the
women.
same benefits for
So,
women.
but what I'm saying is from a standpoint of our community, is that if the median income for black men is 50 grand and the median income for black women is 45 grand, you put those together, it's 95 grand. That takes you from poverty and nests you in the middle class. So with that alone, this is, like I said, this is, you see how this is my Maurice. Remember, this is where I'm at with it. Remember, keep that in mind.
I'm here with you. I'm here. I
Okay.
left for a second. I'm back. I'm back.
Right.
I'm
He
back.
like,
But what I'm saying is, in theory, you that should be, that combined income puts you in the middle class. Now your children have access to better schooling. Now you have access to living in a better neighborhood. Everything, you get the combined income, the two-parent household. You have all the benefits that come from the environment of having a stable parent house. It's just, there's more benefits to it. If the two individuals can get out of their minds what the issues are. Oh, she might divorce me. Oh, I might have to lose this. She might want to get, oh, he just want me to do this. He want me to do that. Oh, this. I'm gonna take half his money. If the value of a relationship can be reestablished, I think that alone could be one of the first and many small baby steps in changing the community. In my imagination.
Okay, are we allowed to poke holes in the imagination yet, or we still
Go ahead.
imagining?
Poke holes all day.
I mean, I understand that base understanding makes 100% sense. The issue is that once you throw in the variables of like the feminine nature and the masculine nature, everything gets tossed up now because
Both
the
sets of
feminine
equals.
nature, the feminine nature, they 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 don't want to work for money. They just don't. After a certain while, they don't want to work. They want the option to be able to work if they want to. That's not the same as wanting to work.
No one wants to work for
You-
money.
What?
Men
No one
work.
wants to.
Men work.
No, no one wants to
No, I'm
work.
telling you. No, I'm gonna tell you exactly. I'm gonna tell you exactly about a man. A man may say he doesn't want to work, but if a man does not work, he is not mentally well. He
Well, isn't that
absolutely needs to work.
all? Hold on, wait. Describe what work is. What's work?
Okay, all right. Let me use a more broader thing because work is kind of constrained. Men need to find places where they can accomplish things of significance. That that is that is what work is for men. They need to find an area where they can accomplish something of significance.
So that's not a human need.
Well, I guess when it comes to women, they want the option to be able to do whatever it is. Men need to actually be needed in something. They want to fit into an area. Women, it's if they want to. Ideally, a woman, I mean, if they can, get off of work and not have to work, but then be able to chase down their passions, that's exactly what they would do. A man has to work hard enough to be able to actually chase down a passion. And even in doing that, he feels accomplished in doing that.
I see it differently. I'm not saying women are the same. I just see it differently. I think that no one wants to work if they don't have to. If a man, including a man, could, I'm not gonna say everyone because shit, if everybody could do it, nothing would really get done, right? So if someone could sit home all day and not do nothing and make thousands of dollars, they would. They wouldn't say no. Don't give it to me. Let me earn it. Like no, like I just don't. I don't see that. But
See,
being productive, I think that is with anyone with ambitions, even if it's a small one. Like I want to be a painter, or I like to trim the shit out the hedges into like little goats and shit. Like whatever passion it may be. I don't think everyone has that passion, nor do I think that is a gender thing. But I will
can't
put
you
that
see?
on men more than women if I had to choose somebody.
Yeah,
You
but
know,
can't you see the contention between our two visions and how we have actually even approaching this? Like the
I'm
way
trying
I'm
to come
approaching
from
it
a
is saying
human
you're
standpoint.
calling a human because, with all due respect, you're possibly perceiving it through a feminine lens. You're looking at a man through a woman's eyes in the
Do
same way I look at
a
women,
feminine or feminist?
Feminine,
feminine,
Okay.
feminine.
Okay,
feminine.
I take that. I take
Okay,
that.
yeah, you're gonna look through at life through a feminine lens. And I mean, one of the major complaints that men have about women is no disrespect at all, is that women tend to try to create narratives rather than accept narratives.
Carry on.
Women try to create narratives instead of
Yeah.
accept the
Hence
narrative
why
that
we
is
have
painted. I
now.
don't.
I'm not speaking about every woman.
Mhm.
Let me clarify that too. I'm not speaking about every woman,
I
but
mean,
that's why within amongst like groups of women, you'll hear words like manifest, or if you say something that is accurate, factually accurate, a lot of women will say, "Oh no, no, don't say that," like, as if the words themselves are going to cause something bad to happen.
that's more spiritual, baby. That has nothing to do with a woman.
But
Woman.
no, but I mean, this is
Manifesting.
That
okay.
comes
I'm
from,
speaking
like, especially
anecdotally.
when women,
I
Hold
am
when you hear
speaking
things like,
anecdotally.
when
on.
women say, "Yo, I manifest something that happened,"
But how many men do you
or
hear talk about manifesting though?
a
That is
lot.
never,
Or
no, I never hear men say manifesting.
how many
Never.
men do you hear about manifesting? It
Manifest,
sounds absolutely insane to us.
manifesting is the
Wow.
this is just my breakdown of it. Manifesting is the idea or concept of making your feelings into physical reality. Like,
Your
it's
feelings.
yeah, because you cannot manifest an A on the paper. You have to do the work.
You can't say, "Oh, I'm about to manifest this good grade." You gotta
I don't.
know. You gotta get your ass down there and study and do the work and do the leg work that it takes to make the grade. You can't say I'm gonna manifest this job. No, you gotta get your ass up, fill out applications.
I never took it like that. I took it as manifest meaning meditate. To meditate on something, to center yourself on that energy so you can maintain it and put it into action. And are we saying men don't meditate? Really? I can say
See,
in the and even in the what is
Meditate,
that?
same thing. You
What
miss.
what where did that shit come from? The people that be with the crystals and the moons and shit. Those people. In the debate world, they every freaking world. So well, I can understand why you don't know Timothy's, but in the debate world, it's a whole bunch of men that think like that. That say that on a regular.
okay. Again, we're not
Not
talking
on
about
average.
full schemes of every single person. I'm really talking about like the majority, the rule versus the exception, right? Like women in the manifesting world, you're gonna have women and men inside this world that people that say I manifest. The majority of those people that there are gonna be women, not men. Does it mean that no men says it? No.
I
But it's
don't
gonna
know.
be a majority women
I wouldn't say
that
that.
talk about manifest. It's rare that I run across a guy that talks about manifesting. And if he does talk about it, he's officially weird. We don't understand him.
Hmm.
But women, they're constantly talking about it, and we just
Well, I would
we
say
get
women
ready.
are remotely more spiritual than men. So yeah, yeah.
However you want to say it, it doesn't defeat it doesn't
But it's a
contradict my
spiritual
point.
thing, though. You get what I'm saying? It's
Okay,
not something that it's a trending thing to say. Like it just came out of trend. Like I done heard
no,
church
so
women talk about manifestations. So
remember what I
I
remember
never
where
knew to think
manifesting
about it
came
that way.
from, right? My I guess my original point was that women try to speak a certain existence into the world. This is kind of like how they tend to want to approach things. They try to speak a certain existence into the world. Men try to actually understand the existence of it and then try to manipulate it.
If you don't speak it, it won't exist. Go ahead, sis.
See? You're
So,
proving my point.
hi everybody.
Hey,
Hey,
Miss Phils. Hey, Miss Phils.
I'm just catching up, and I'm sorry I'm late, but Momo had me tied up. But like sometimes manifestation doesn't necessarily have to be spoken words. So manifestation, even though a man may not speak those words, he may still. I'm not saying you do, but a man may still speak that positive energy or those goals or whatever into himself, and that too can be a manifestation. It doesn't mean that he's out here saying, okay, I'm speaking life into, like she said, that's more of a woman thing and a spirituality thing, where I say I manifest things. Like when my children leave the house, I kiss them on the forehead and I say, like, just something small in my head, come back home to me, come back home safely. I may say it out loud, but you men, you probably say it, but you just don't say it out loud. So it's just maybe it's a manifestation in a different way.
I mean, I think that's a wild assumption, but
I'm asking.
Oh
I'm not a
well,
no,
man.
yes.
I'm just speaking. I think
The male equivalent to "I'm gonna manifest something" would be men saying, "I'm trying to make this happen. I'm trying to get this going. I'm trying to get this
yeah,
popping."
the
It's
the
not.
more
It's not. It's gonna appear. It's like I'm. He understands. Like I have to try to get.
Yeah,
What I mean?
that's
Like I
that's
have to
that's
try to get
manifestation as
work.
well.
But that's the
no,
same
see
thing.
Don't shake your head, Maurice.
yeah,
It's the same thing. You just don't want to use the word, and that's
Right.
okay. If y'all got a
see,
different
don't do
word
that. Don't
for
do
it,
that.
that's
See, don't do
fine.
that. Don't do that to me. Don't do it. I'm saying the masculine framework. It wants to first understand what it is, right? Because and it's not until there's a problem that
Yeah.
we, for the most part, we don't care. If we can foresee a problem, we want to understand what that is.
Hmm.
First, that is baseline first. What is this? Right? The reason you're, maybe speaking these words to your kids before they walk out the door is because you see a potential problem. Instead of speaking those things on his words, a man is like, okay, this could happen, this could happen, this could happen, this could happen. How can I make sure I put appropriate interventions to make sure that they don't happen? And if they do happen, how can I respond appropriately so I can mitigate the issues? That's how we think. I'm not talking about saying certain words and just kind of everything's going to fall in place.
But so if like let's say you were like, okay, I
Mm.
want to start a business, right? And you're just constantly, whether it's saying it to yourself or out loud, you're constantly saying, this is like you just said, this is my goal, this is what I want to do. Aren't those also words of manifestation? If
What's
we're
a
looking at
prayer?
this definition
Prayers are
of
manifestations.
manifestation.
Saying your prayers are manifestations. And we
I
can't
don't know.
say
I don't
men
know.
don't pray.
I don't know. I don't know if I can hurdle this one. This is a tough hurdle to
You
be able
you
to
you
explain.
you opened this door. Ain't nobody
I
open
opened
this door but
I
you.
opened it. I did
You
open it. I
opened it.
didn't think it was.
I was like
I really didn't think I was gonna have
manifestations.
this
I
much
was waiting for you to
problem.
just change the word altogether.
And that's what I
Just
said.
a
If there's another word that we can use, please let us know. For us
right.
women,
No.
we think
Okay.
of
All
that
right. All
word
right.
manifestation
Let me clarify
as
this. Maybe this is where some.
speaking
Okay.
positively into a
Right.
situation.
I'm like,
So
well,
if
wait
y'all
a
men have a
minute.
different word, just let us
Let's
know and
not
we'll
make.
use that word.
Okay. Okay. Let's
We're
not make
still
the
away.
assumption that manifesting altogether is a negative thing. Okay. Can we do that?
Oh no, I didn't.
Manifesting does have its positive and useful qualities. I'm not negating them. I'm literally speaking, as the title of this show is, I'm speaking about a certain fact, not a feeling of it. All
Right.
right. So
Right.
that's the approach I'm coming at this with.
Go ahead. Speak your
Women
fact.
have a tendency to try to speak a certain narrative into existence.
Mm-hmm.
Men tend to try to understand the narrative and then try to alter it according to what they're whatever they're trying to desire to accomplish.
Okay.
It's just a difference of approach. I would argue though that the more masculine approach is going to see you're going to receive more tangible results.
Mm.
Whereas more the feminine approach is there for more motivation's sake, which is beneficial because if it's not because again, remember I said earlier too, if a man doesn't see a problem, he's not going to put a plan into place to mitigate against it. Women have an excellent heightened sense of seeing problems. You guys see, you man, the number one thing that men complain about women is they always complaining, right?
Yeah. Women are
It's
women
because y'all
are
see,
women have a low threshold of being satisfied.
it's because you guys always see problems. You guys always see problems. There's always a problem. There's
but
always an
but
issue.
but you men always find a solution. So
I know
maybe
this is
that's
why we work
about,
together.
maybe that's
I'm
and I'm not a Libra, but maybe in the feeling of a Libra, you're supposed to balance that little sucker on out. So we supposed to point out the problem, and you supposed to point out the solution, and we're supposed to
yep.
listen to each other. Because how would you be able to come with solutions if you don't listen to the problem?
Nothing I've said disagrees with anything you just said right there.
Okay,
All I was talking about was the approach that we take.
I get it. I get it.
And
I was
and
building
then
on
when
that.
we come together, it's extremely beneficial and it works out excellently. But as soon as you start stepping into roles that are not yours, you cause
Uh-huh.
accidents, you cause problems, right? You got, and this is where, this whole
That
masculine
is
feminine debate
subjective.
happens.
Yeah,
There it is.
because when you say things like, yeah, okay, because I'm like, okay, that is subjective. But this, stay in your lane and stay in my lane, because we just had a whole argument about parenting. So, or a little, not argument, but a little tit about parenting. So I don't know. I think that's subjective. Whomever you
What's-
compatible
we're-
with,
you
if that's
just
cool with
finished
them,
agreeing.
and I don't know, it's subjective. I'm not disagreeing nor agreeing. I gotta stay neutral with this one because I can't disagree if that's what the woman wants and that's what y'all set up y'all relationship to be, where he does XYZ and you do XYZ and that's how that works. But I can't say that's how it's supposed to be. I would say it's subjective to what those two parties agree upon.
Okay, but the roles that I spoke about, I'm not talking about whatever roles I'm not talking about traditional gender roles.
Hmm.
Forget that. I'm literally speaking about the roles we spoke about in this conversation. The woman's role is to find problems.
Yeah,
The
that
man's
role.
role is to solve problems. That's all I've been talking about.
Okay, in that role, then if everybody stays in their role of of the woman bringing up problems and the man stays in his role, it plays his role of finding a solution and coming up with a solution, then I will totally agree. Everything that well-oiled machine should run very, very
Now,
well.
now the issues are when women start solving problems is where everything happens. For the most part, men don't do a good job of trying to step into feminine roles and actually finding problems. They don't. We don't really go looking for more problems. But
I ain't
it,
gonna go look for a problem now. Like that seems a little bit extreme.
no, I'm not saying, but women are really good at identifying problems. It's just that but women have an easier access to stepping into that man's role of trying to solve problems. They can easily get in that way.
But you do realize that there are some problems that may arise that maybe the man isn't necessarily equipped to resolve.
Listen, I mean,
I'm just throwing it out there.
no, I'm not disagreeing with you, but like,
Well, then there's
if if
that.
the if the man is supposed to be, let's say, the captain of the ship, yeah, the crew's out there paying attention to what the hell's going on, and they're gonna talk to the captain. But if the captain says turn the ship left, we don't want a discussion or a debate of what's gonna happen to the ship, right?
Oh, but
It
it
could be
is going to
wrong.
be.
Left could be wrong. Yes, that is correct. Left could be wrong. But having a discussion about it is definitely more wrong than the left would have been.
Well, since there's only one militant up here, I'm going to put her on the spot.
Okay,
Miss
real
Jessica. What's up, Lee?
everybody,
Thank you for
every-
joining first before I say
thank you
anything.
for joining. Thank you for
Hey,
joining.
how you
Everybody
doing?
join. Just click
Hey
the link in
sis.
the comments on
Hello,
YouTube.
everybody.
Hi.
Eh,
Hi.
I would like to direct that question to the only
Microphone.
militant on this dang live on this panel right now.
Is
And
it
you
on?
and you I just got a question. It's a little off topic. It's slightly, but fuck
Can you
it.
hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah,
We can hear
we
you.
can.
Members talking.
Okay. I was saying, everybody watching, thank you everybody for watching. Click the link in the comments to come up on to the panel.
So, Mrs. Fields,
Yes, ma'am.
anytime you was in your directive, and a sergeant or general says some orders, ain't nobody say shit. Nothing.
Oh, hey, represent my position well, please.
Let this
Please
woman.
represent it
Hold
well.
on, let me answer. Let me answer. She asked me a question.
If you,
Now,
no,
if
the
it
answer to
was
that
a
question is not my position, just so we know, just so we're clear.
if this leader is a competent leader, we would follow that competent leader. And we would trust that that competent leader was going to lead us in the right direction. But let's say if we went left, there was I'm going to be a little vague. There was like a field of alligators. And if we went right, there was like a field of flowers. And he said, no, but we're going to go left because we can beat the alligators. We're going to be like, nah, we want to go right. We're not trying to fight the alligators.
You know,
I'm just saying.
I didn't
Yeah.
believe it is either. You know, it depends on what you're saying. And let me piggyback and let me build on that. I just want you to stop there, just pause. I want to say this, brother Maurice. It depends on what your orders is, and are they logical? Because sometimes you guys, it's not that you're stupid, you're illogical. It's just sometimes your pride and your ego is way above what someone else is thinking that they want to do.
I'm not disagreeing with you, but if let's take our alligator and field the flower situation. You know, you got alligators on your left, you got a field of flowers on your right.
You said we could beat the alligator.
Completely depends on the scenario and the context of things, obviously. Because let's say you in here with your platoon or whatever. The reason we want to go towards the alligators is because we know definitely that's not where the enemy is. Where we're trying to get out of enemy territory.
Seriously.
I'm putting up a scenario.
Okay.
Said seriously.
I'm putting this up a scenario where left will probably make more sense than going right. If you're trying to escape an enemy territory, you have, let's say, a platoon of 6 or 7 men that need to get out of there safely, as safely as possible. You're probably better off going to deal with the alligators than heading into the empty field where you're definitely going to run into enemy soldiers. I mean, so you think it would be a better choice to go through the enemy soldiers?
Over alligators? Hell
Over
yeah.
alligators?
Crocodile Dundee died by a stingray, but yeah. Yeah. I'd rather fight a human than an alligator. The hell, a whole bunch of them too. I'd rather fight them than the alligators. They might mess me
First
up.
of all, you in the alligators territory. Fuck the enemy side.
At least in the field of flowers, I could duck down. I could low crawl. I can shoot some
alligator
shit.
can drown you and eat you at the same time. This is
I'm
team
not
two.
doing that. I don't want to. I'm not doing that.
Humans.
I see where you're going, Maurice. I'm not dismissing what you're saying. It does kind of make sense. Well, if we go towards the alligators, we know the enemy ain't over there because the alligators is over there. But then, are we even gonna make it through the alligators? No, I'm gonna go to the field of flowers and try to fight my way through the human beings and not the alligators. I'm just saying.
All right, and this is where it comes to the.
We got bite resistant.
Can we at least identify that these are both bad choices? Left and right are bad choices, right? We understand
the best of the bad choice.
And sometimes, at this point in time, because there is no good choice, that's why you have a leader that needs to make that bad choice, take on both the responsibility and the consequences of what's going to happen. That's the whole point of having a leader.
All right. So,
but here's the thing: a lot of times you come across, and just using military again in that aspect. Sometimes you really do come across people who think that they are good leaders, or may even present themselves as good leaders, but they're not good leaders. Matter of fact, what I found in my military experience, the ones who were the loudest were the ones I didn't want to follow. I didn't want to follow them. The ones that barked and yelled and stuff like that and tried to prove something, those were the ones I did not want to follow because I knew they would get me killed. The ones that had logical minds and prepared and planned and were calm, those were the type of people that I wanted as leadership, if that makes sense.
Now, just so we're clear, we just moved the conversation from what leaders are kind of endowed to do and whether or not we should choose to follow a leader. We just moved that, just so we're clear. Because you're talking about verifying whether that leader is actually competent to lead or not.
Yeah.
Which should have been done before you started following him.
Beforehand,
right. Can I get an amen?
Beforehand.
In that situation, you don't have that choice because you don't want to board up again.
How did you
the show about facts over feelings? So I hate to put y'all in a situation, especially like you and Jess, because y'all kind of not used to the debative world where debates happen and you're not being yelled over and things like that. So I am putting you in that field where certain things that you say can be used the hell against you. And you the one that made the comment of militants. And when guys are talking about relationship statuses and how they relationship in general, how gender roles go, right? When they're talking about it like that, is normally in that situation where he's the general, and he don't want to be questioned when he gives a directive. Now, a lot of
Okay,
generals
can I break that
are
down?
going to be
Can
you're going to be questioned, bro, because
can I break that
clearly
down? Though?
something was misunderstood. So maybe you should explain it better.
All right, let me break that down. If he's a general and he makes a directive, right? These are the words you said, right? He's a general, he makes a directive. He doesn't want to be questioned because he just made a directive. The issue is like there was conversations that should have been happening well before this directive was put in place. There's conversations about who you are, who he is that need to be happening well before this directive is put in
The
place.
vetting process
So
should have
much
happened
so that
long
when this
before that.
directive happens, there's no questions anymore.
The
Because now
vetting
you know
process
who
should
he
have
is.
taken place long in the beginning. Right. I agree.
Now,
Now you
I
know
agree
who
with
he is,
that as
and you know
well.
how he makes decisions, and you know he may see he's you know what he's able to see, what he's not able to see, because you're looking where he's not able to see, and you don't see a problem there. So he's making this. You don't understand what he's making, obviously, or else you
Mhm.
wouldn't have or else you would have a problem with it, right?
Once it's that's what I just said. Once there is an understanding, then yeah. But
The
to
problem
ask
is
the
with the
question,
time.
to ask the question shouldn't be a problem, brother. If I'm
No, the
saying, I'm
time.
not asking you why, I'm asking you, well, what does such and such and such do what I tell you. Hold on, wait.
Oh,
I don't
you're taking.
understand something. So if I'm asking you a question to better understand, I would get more upset that you wouldn't give me an answer.
Okay,
More
you're
so
taking it a little bit
than
too
I
literally.
asked the question.
Ask, asking questions. The concept of asking questions, you're
Right.
taking it a little bit too
Why are
broadly.
you asking
If
me
you're
No, I'm
that?
asking
not.
clarifying questions, like
I just
if
said
he
what I
says go get the thing, and you ask what's the thing, that's a clarifying question.
That's what I just
If
said.
he
I
says
said
if
the
he's
difference between
okay,
questioning you and asking a question. I just said that.
okay, okay. Because if he
Yeah.
says get the thing and you go, why should I get the thing? Now you're questioning me, right? This is two different things.
Right.
You want to clarify. I'm gonna go get the thing. Where do you want me to put it? That's clarifying, right? You've already
Yeah.
agreed to following the directive. That's not any man that gets upset at that is an idiot or poor leader. Any leader that gets upset at clarifying questions just sucks at communicating. This is not
Absolutely.
that you want to follow or
Okay.
deal with ever.
Yeah. I
Because
Yeah, I
wanted
was
I
just
wanted to
And
clear
we,
that up for the people that was watching between the difference between questioning you and ask to clarify questions.
Yeah, I was gonna say because if like I've been with Billy for 15 years, so we're like on pretty much the same page, the same sentence, the same book. So we already know if such and such goes down, we already kind of have plans or whatever the case may be. But if there was ever a time where he said, "Hey, I need you to do this," and I said, "Well, wait a minute, that don't really make sense. I need you to explain this one to me because that doesn't
just
make
do it,
sense." It
woman.
doesn't
Do
mean
it.
it doesn't mean that I'm challenging him. It simply means that, wait a minute, this was never discussed. This was not something that I, I don't know nothing about this. So why are we doing it this way? And now, if you can clarify it to me and say, well, we're doing it this way because the end result is going to be this, then I'm like, okay, cool, let's go.
Right.
But if you don't have a clear end result, I might question that.
Right.
I mean,
That's no
it does depend on
that's
a certain
perfectly
level of
normal.
urgency as well. It depends. It also depends how urgent the situation is. Because if it's
True.
more urgent situation, we're not having this discussion.
Okay. Let's move on to the next prompt if that's okay with everybody.
Yep.
All righty. So the next prompt is women being happier when they are single and childless versus women that are married with children, fact or feelings.
Can you repeat that for Alicia? She just jumped on.
All right. The question is fact or feeling. Are women being happier? Are women happier when they are single and childless versus women that are married with children? And I can copy and
Cricket.
paste that. Oh, yeah.
This is a minefield.
Well, I'll go first then. As a woman, I did not have my first child until I was 35. And I can personally say that I've never been happier since I got married and had my children. My husband and my children are the best decision that I ever made in my life. So I can't speak for single women. I had a good time when I was single and with no kids, you know. But once I got married and I had children, they really became the epitome of my life and my focus and my priority, and I wouldn't have it any other way. But I do understand that there are women out there who don't feel the way that I do.
I think, I mean, because I cannot speak to whether a woman's happy with or without children. I really can't speak to that, and I won't try to. But I will speak to the possibility that making the assumption that getting married and having children will make you happy is extremely problematic. If you have that attitude or that approach, or making the assumption that adding these things to your life is what's going to make you happy, you that's a fallacy. That's a problem.
I guess another
As
question
a
would be
man, I
like,
was gonna
are we
say, as a
talking about?
man, I'm like, as a man, I'm with him. Like, I can't talk about. I don't know what it's like to be have a baby and all that.
Mhm.
I was gonna
I
say, is there like a particular group that we're speaking of? Like, you know, maybe
just
an
in
age group?
general.
Oh
So
man.
since there's a lot of crickets, let's go ahead and see what the data says.
I read a post that said that women are more happy, meaning like they're less stressed. They have less responsibilities when they're single and childless versus when they have children and things of that nature. Um,
Okay, so this
this is an
says the
opinion
research
more
on the
than that.
topic has produced mixed feelings. Some studies suggest that unmarried and childless women report higher levels of happiness and life satisfaction compared to women married with children. These feelings may be attributed to factors such as uh, autonomy, freedom, and flexibility in decision making that unmarried and childless women experience. However, other research suggests that marriage and parenthood can bring significant fulfillment and happiness to women's lives. Many women derive joy and meaning from. So I got to use these bifocals. They knew and meaning from their partners and children, and the relationships can provide emotional support, companionship, and a sense of purpose.
Sense of purpose.
Purpose.
Purpose. Yeah, get perpetuity.
Well, that's why I kind of asked, what is there an age group to that? Because, for example, myself, I didn't have my first kid till 35, so I had a blast before 35. You see what I mean? Where if you ask a 25-year-old the same question, their outlook might be different. For me, by the time I was 35, I'm like, club? What club? I don't even feel like going to the club. Get dressed? Leave the house? Nah, I'm good. I just want to be at home with my kids and raise my family. Whereas somebody who might be 25, having children and married, they might feel like they are missing out on something and they're not enjoying, you know, their lives, if that makes sense.
I
I,
asked the
I would
question,
think
what
so. Like,
if you could choose the age that you got married and had kids, what would you have chosen?
I, yeah, I'll say that I wish I was a little younger when I started. I would have said maybe about 28 would have been my preferable, because I wanted more children than three. Um, but that would have been my preferred age if I had to put an age on it. It wouldn't have been
Okay,
like
so
23.
to answer your
I
question, I
wanted it
pulled
at
it
that
up,
young
Jess.
too.
Okay, go ahead and touch it before I read, because I asked the question just asked. I had it break it down to the age groups. But go ahead.
I would, as a woman that had a child earlier, If I could do it again, I don't think I would have waited till later though. Like
You're
I'm
like, well, how
36
old were you when you had
years
kids?
old now, and my child almost grown, and I got a 13-year-old in my since I had one in my early 20s. So I'm gonna stick with I would have probably waited for my oldest to be born later, but I still would have had a child like in like 1920. Like soon get that out of here. Get him out of here. So I could be 41, 42 and start getting ready to not have kids in my house no more. But I do agree with the statement. There you go. I agree with the statement. It is a big ass difference when you're younger and you're doing this versus when you're older and doing this, because we do it when we're young and we can't wait till them little fuckers get out so we can not have kids, even when we married. So there's that. Let's move. Let's see what AI say.
Okay, so according to this data, young adulthood, 20s and early 30s, during this stage of life, many women may prioritize personal and career development, exploration, and independence. Unmarried and childless women in this age group may experience higher levels of happiness and life satisfaction due to their freedom to pursue their goals and aspirations without the responsibilities associated with marriage and parenthood. However, some women in this age may also find fulfillment and joy building relationships and starting families. Middle adulthood, mid 30s to 50s. This is often the stage when many women choose to marry and start families. Married women with children may experience high levels of happiness and satisfaction from their relationships with their partners and children, as well as from a sense of fulfillment that comes with parenting. However, the demands of balancing work, family, and personal life may also lead to stress and challenges for some women in this age group. And then the old folks, 50s and up. As women enter later adulthood, their priorities and sources of happiness may shift. Empty nesters, which is what Keisha was just talking about when you said all the kids is out the house, that's called an empty nest. Empty nesters, for example, may experience mixed emotions as their children leave the home, but may also enjoy newfound freedom and opportunities from personal growth and self-discovery. Some women may find happiness in companionship and shared experiences with a long-term partner, while others may cherish their independence and autonomy as they age. Bada
And
bing.
that all made sense.
Yeah, so Jesse was right. Like when you're older, you get to enjoy
All right,
raising children.
we got a question at the audience.
So
I think that's
will
you
you
more
be
King.
married at 19? No.
Oof.
Yeah.
Oof.
I say no.
I would say no.
I
But
think
you
that
were
the
saying,
ideal, this is my personal opinion. I think
Uh-uh.
the ideal age of marriage, if you're going to marry young and have a family, is like 25.
Should I go as early as 22, 23, but 19? Bro, I ain't
so you
graduate. I ain't graduate high school till I was 18.
I know, but you said you
Like
was you kind of you were happy that you had your kid at 19, right?
Early, right? That's
I
what I
had
was
him
just getting to
earlier
get
than
at.
So
19.
that's
'Cause I
why
had,
I think that's why
I had a
that
kid at
question came up
21.
was
I had a
that
kid at 21, and
like
I had a kid way earlier than 19. But like I said, I would have waited for my first one. I would have waited for my first one, and I would have had my last one when I had him at 21. Yep, I sure enough would have. I would have got
so
married
21
at
so
21.
21's the right age?
21 was definitely.
I got
Was
mixed
the
emotions
right
on
age.
this because I can't in good conscience, I couldn't encourage nobody
I
that
wouldn't have a
young to
baby
get
at 19.
married. Wouldn't encourage them to get married or have a baby. But the reality of the reality that we see is that they having the babies without and don't want the relationship. They want the baby,
Yeah.
just not the relationship. So that's where it's kind of like I was a teen dad. My eldest son was born my senior year of high school. Now I have
Mhm.
mixed emotions about it because it's like with him, I had a lot of help. I had a lot of support from my mom and stuff like that. I was pretty
Same here.
attentive and was involved with him. Versus now, I have two smaller kids, and I feel like I'm not as involved because I have to maintain their livelihood. You know what I mean? Like, I
Right.
don't know. I guess the sense of priorities is different because when I was less mature, because at 18, I'm still in my parents' house, so I have no concept of
Right.
of
Right.
providing for my
Yeah, that's what
kids.
I.
So it was just
Yep.
I can look back in hindsight and say that wasn't a factor in my mind because I was still a child in a sense living at home too. So I was a child living at home with a child that had a child that was living in a house. So
But
those certain levels of
Same here.
responsibility never kicked in, and I was able to be a
Mhm.
very active parent at that
I
age.
I
When he
agree
got
with
old enough when he got old enough to go to school full time, like first grade and be at school all day, that's when I was like, okay, boom, I can go to work now. But from very small up until school age, I was that's so that in certain instances, this is why I can relate to a lot of things women say when they're talking about being a parent is hard, like being a mom is hard, being a single parent is hard. I can relate because of certain experiences that I've had because of that. But then, like I said, I have mixed feelings now because now that I'm married and I have, I have a whole household that I take care of and everything. I personally feel like I spend less time with my kids and they spend more time with their mom because she's with them.
you.
You see what I mean? So
So you
it's
can understand. So can I ask you
what?
a question? Can you understand when some women that when some married women say that they feel like single women because they're not having the equal amount of parent hands on parenting because the man is so he's doing shit like he working he's providing he's busy
but ain't that ain't that
That's
claim?
just to me that's complaining because
Yeah,
if he's if he's there giving and I think that's why they and this is just me giving a wow I don't know I'm just creating an idea I don't know I can't speak for women but I think that's why a lot of them have that viewpoint is because him going to work every day and giving them money and not being hands-on with the kids is an equivalent to just getting child support. So why do I need the man there if he can just give me the money just like child support?
well
You know what I mean?
I agree with that I have no objections with that but I do think that I mean I ain't never been a woman as a unmarried woman in that situation so I can't relate I don't know what that feels like but
Well,
I could understand what he just said. If all you do is come home and give me we on YouTube, so I could say dick. If you give me dick in a check and that's it, I might as well get on welfare and get on child support where I don't have to get no dick and I could just get a check.
true. But I
that's
was just gonna say, like for me, being a stay-at-home mom and Billy working all the time, and we all on this. Yep, every last one of y'all know me. Um, but Billy is very hands-on. All of y'all are on my personal page. You see them going fishing and hunting
Mm-hmm.
and playing around.
All
But
right.
then that aspect changes because as a stay-at-home mom and wife, I make sure that everything is done so that when he comes home, that's all he has to focus on is the kids. Go change your clothes, baby. Dinner's ready. Eat, wash up, do what you do, and then go play with the boys or play with Monica or whatever you guys want to do. But I make it so now. Unfortunately, you do have a lot of women because I'm part of a lot of stay-at-home mom groups too. And you do have a lot of women where they really just think like, okay, well, I went to work today. Here's my check, and then they just sit down on the couch and they don't interact with the children, they don't help or anything like that. So I can see how that can be frustrating for a lot of women.
Right.
But again, it just comes down back to what we were saying earlier. It's like vetting the man. Like I knew when I met Billy, I knew he was going to be a freaking fantastic father. I knew that when I saw him with his father and his mother. So I people that if you're in a marriage and you feel that you're a single mother, that is a huge problem that you need to address, because you should not feel like a single mother. I don't care if you're a stay-at-home mom and you do everything in the house. Once that man comes home and he changes his clothes and washes up and you feed him, if he's not taking that child off your hands for a few, that's a problem. But
That's
not
an
even
issue.
because
I
you
think,
need a
I
break.
think there's
Just
too many
because,
nuances to that. Because what if he has a
hold
physical
on,
job?
let me finish
He's a
my statement.
bricklayer. You know
Hold
what I
on, let
mean?
me finish my statement. Not only because your wife might need a break, but because they're your kids and they want to see you. You've been gone. And as long as when you walk in that door, your wife ain't nagging you, the dinner is done, everything is cool, and you can relax, there should not be an issue
Right.
with you
I
taking the
dig
kids.
that. That's what I'm saying. I dig that, but at the same time too, I think there's some nuances that come in there. Like I said, if he's a bricklayer and he come home, because there's time, because I have a physical job, and there's times where I come home from work and I sit in this chair, and it's a computer chair, and I sit here and get to looking, and next thing you know, I'll be.
We know.
I think
We
that's
know.
different than you just
Right,
not
right in front of
that
me.
then you just not wanting to like there's guys, especially in our bed chat when we talk about this conversation, and they're like, well, listen, for the first hour or the first such and such, when I come home, after they done did their routine of coming home, don't want to interact with no kids, tell the kids not to come in here, tell the kids. I'm like, bro, you tell your kids not to come in there and you don't want to see them right now. You tell them. Why I gotta tell them? You tell them. Like,
Yeah,
that's
and I
some
was
crazy shit to tell your kid after they ain't see you for 12 hours that they can't see your ass for another fucking 2 hours
no.
because you need a break.
And let me just say, going to Tim's point, yes, there were some, like my husband's a high school teacher. I'm not diminishing his job because maybe it's not as physically strenuous, but I could damn sure guarantee you it's mentally strenuous. So if he comes home and I recognize that he's not ready for the kids, I'd be like, all right, boys, look, don't mess with your dad right now. He tired. Let your dad take a nap, right? And then when dad wake up from his nap, boom. Hey, you want to play Brawlhalla or Madden or whatever the hell they play up there? And
Right.
he go play with the boys. So I mean, there's just there's a balance to it, and you have to know how to recognize those balances. There are some times where he'll come home to me and he'll be like, "You had a long day, didn't you?" And I'm like, "Hell yeah!" And you know what? He'd be like, "Don't worry about it. You know what? Matter of fact, I'm gonna take the boys and Monica, and I'm gonna take them fishing. Go take your shower, do what you want. You know, whatever it is that you want to do. Because I could tell that you had a long ass day." Because we can have long ass days just like a man can have long ass days, whether it's bricklaying or dealing with a toddler that's being a fucking asshole all day. Sorry, Monica.
Deal with a baby that's teething. Your whole life is going to change. Deal with potty training. Your whole to this day, I don't know what potty training is about. I got 2 kids. Don't ask me how I avoided all that. All that. Just avoided it. Like, send you to your grandparents' house. They came back potty trained. I was so happy.
I potty trained all 3 of my children,
That
including
is
my daughter.
crazy.
Including my daughter.
I gave up.
Yeah.
I was over
Yes,
it.
when it comes to like
Over it.
fathers not being hands-on, it doesn't make any sense to me. It really don't. Because getting home from a day at work, I'm looking forward to seeing my kids.
That's right.
So it's very difficult for me. Like I could be bone tired, sick and tired of work. I get this spark of energy. Mind you, I've never actually done a physical labor job, but I have worked out with my kids before, and I still want to spend that time with them. I still want to talk with them. I want to interact with them. So I find it extremely strange when guys are like, nah, I don't want these kids anywhere near me. It's weird to me. But I do also understand that I may possibly be in the minority too. So in that that realm, in that aspect. But but especially when you talk about waking up in the middle of the night because that kid was crying, that was me. Waking up or potty training, that was me. I made sure because I had 2 boys, I made sure they pissed in the pot, standing, and
Right.
they learned how to wipe. And the youngest one was over in the corner with his diaper trying to squat. I was like, no, you go into the bathroom like you're supposed to.
That's
'Cause,
a
you know,
daddy's
me,
job. That's a daddy's job. I can't potty train these boys.
don't
That's
do
a
that. Don't
daddy's
do that.
job.
Don't do that.
That's
That's
a parent's job. It
that's
ain't
a
daddy.
daddy. I
You
can teach
know,
you to wipe your booty the right way, but I
I'm
But
can't
telling you, man.
teach you how to
I
go.
know some.
Oh, that's a
Listen,
daddy's job.
I know some grown men that wipe from the front. I'm like, where the hell did you learn to do that? Like,
yeah, right.
but
where
Okay,
did you
something that
learn
Maurice said
to
real,
is
do
really is
front
it
to me?
really
This
real
is
quick,
why
y'all.
it's a daddy's job.
But
Real
here's the
quick,
thing,
y'all. Hold
something
on.
that
Real quick,
Maurice
y'all.
said
Hold
is
on.
really true. Like when Billy comes home, you know, the first thing he sees is Monica. And as soon as Monica sees him, like, Daddy, and he's like, let me wash my hands and I'm gonna pick you up. And he washes his hands and picks him up. It don't matter how tired he is. I know he's tired. And then he'd be like, okay, where the boys? And I'm like, ask me another dumb question. You know where they at. They upstairs playing their damn game. And he'd be like, all right, let me go check on the boys. Next thing I know, I hear them all up there talking about chicka, 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 chicka on the damn remote controls. They all playing together. Or they on their way out to go fishing or something like that. So it don't matter, you know, how tired he is. He always, that's the highlight of his day. Hell, more than
Right.
me. Shit.
So let's
Because you ain't
let's
see
take
him all
let's
day.
take
You
a
don't
quick
get to see
moment.
him as much.
Let's take a
Go
quick
ahead.
moment to acknowledge, welcome Moody Watt to the stage, Mugabe.
What's that, Moody?
What's up, you guys? I'm just
Hey,
listening to
Modi
the
Modi.
I'm just listening to the conversation. It's different, you know. Kind of. I don't know how y'all got here from the original question, but yeah, it's a little bit different. Yeah, it's. I'm just listening.
Okay, so
It's a real conversation.
with that being said, I'm gonna move the prompt into the next prompt, and we're not gonna do a long show today. We kind of started late today, so we're gonna get this out the way. So the last prompt is: has democratic policies failed the Black community? Fact or feelings?
Is that Big D Democrat?
Big D Democrat.
Big D.
Fact.
Democratic Party.
That's a Democratic Party.
I
Fact.
100% agree with that
Fail.
statement.
What did it
Failed.
say? It failed. Did they fail the
Failed the Black community.
Black community?
You know, Black people been voting Democrat for the last, 50, 60 years.
50, 60 years.
Well, the answer to that is no. The Democratic Party hasn't failed the Black community. The Black community don't know what the fuck it wants from the Democratic Party. That's just it. Black people are not. Black people are politically ignorant, and that's just what it is. The politics is not it's not a savior. It's not for your salvation. It's for you to get in there and lobby for the things that you want. If you're not actively involved in the political process, you look like a fucking idiot expecting a politician to come save you. So it's not the party didn't do a damn thing. It's our inability to understand the political system.
I would like to build on that before anybody else say anything. I agree with my brother because no matter who you vote with, if you don't know what the fuck you voting for or what you want from these people, and you ain't asking for that shit up front before you give them their vote, your vote, I'm sorry, then you gonna fuck this shit up regardless of what party. Like, you can vote for the Republican Party, you still ain't gonna get what the fuck you need, and you're gonna feel like they failed you too. So I agree with my brother.
I was just gonna say left wing. This is my famous saying: left wing, right wing, same damn bird. Ain't none of them doing nothing for us.
Yo,
we just always gotta try to I guess vote for the best of the worst, if that makes sense. Like, they ain't doing shit for us. They never have.
It's not a just vote for somebody. It's like, if you ask Black people, what do you want politically? Most of them cannot answer that. They can't answer it. They're going to say some vague and ambiguous shit. You know what I mean? Like, they mad at Barack Obama talking about, Barack Obama didn't do nothing for Black people.
They're gonna say reparations. That's what they're gonna say every time. Hands down.
Every time.
Give me money.
No.
One way or another, give me money.
I want my money too. So,
but if you want reparations, you got to start lobbying for motherfuckers that's gonna make that the conversation.
That part, and that's where it stops. That's where it stops, Mugabe. That's where it stops. They talk about it, but it stopped right there.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's
they don't
a motherfucker that walk past the gym every day and say, "Damn, I wish I was in shape. Damn, I wish I was in shape." You walking right past the motherfucking gym every day.
I feel attacked.
Tell them to walk faster. Maybe run past the gym.
Run past the gym,
While
right?
saying it. Yeah.
I feel attacked.
I don't know. I guess when it comes to politics, I got a different outlook. I hate to be like what they used to call it, the Debbie Downer, but it don't matter who you vote for. It don't matter what you do. It really doesn't. They're gonna make these things are already in place. They're gonna elect who they want to elect. I think that the more important part is to start focusing more on your local elections versus our 4-year elections. I think that too many people are so focused on just the president election, not realizing that he's just a spokesperson. He really don't mean shit. He's just a face. And
I agree
the
with you.
more important
I
elections are
agree.
the ones that are in your districts, in your school systems, your
Mhm.
in your state.
Superintendent, all of that, right?
You know,
So
That's
that
what
that
I'm
that
saying.
4-year
means
one
that the
doesn't
message
mean shit.
that means that the message should be voting is important. That means
It,
Right.
that it shouldn't be it don't matter. The message should be that shit is hella important. That's
Okay,
what the
so let me clarify then. I'm sorry. You're absolutely right, Moody. Why I phrased that wrong. I think that the focus should be more on your local voting than
Agreed.
every 4 years. Because most people
Agreed.
only go out to vote every 4 years. They're not voting on a regular basis for their counties and their districts and their governors and their mayors. They're only voting
What?
every 4 years for a president, and
What?
that's
They
it.
voting
Why
for
do
the
you
prom
think?
king, right?
Why do you think that is? Though? What do you guys think that?
You said, why do I think that is?
Why do we think? Well, I mean, because I agree with you, but
I
why
can't
is
answer
it?
that question.
Yeah, I
Go
couldn't
ahead,
hear you.
Okay.
Maurice want to answer the question.
Yeah, no, because it was something I was gonna bring up. The reason why everybody focused on the presidential election more than they are on the local elections is because it's not advertised. You know how much work you got to do to figure out who your district whatever your local this your sheriff that. It's a ton of goddamn work. Then you got to find out what they
Right.
actually plan on doing,
Right.
and then you got to find who they're opposing. It's a lot of work.
No,
Where I can just
it's
turn
not a
on the
lot of work,
news.
bro. That's cap. It's not a lot of work. You
No,
got
well,
No,
it's not a
it,
Well,
lot of
hold
work.
on.
hold on, hold on.
Mark,
Let me finish. Because yeah, the way I said, I understand why you said what you said. But comparatively, because we're comparing two things, I can turn on the TV, turn on CNN, MSNBC, whatever, and they'll tell me who's running. They'll tell me what they're running for. They'll tell me what they
Right.
plan on doing, and then you'll get the critics of on each side of why the other side is bad. All I
Oh,
gotta do is turn on my TV.
so you need white people to tell you what to do. Then basically,
Bro,
you
I'm
need.
comparing. I'm comparing.
No, I'm saying I'm being
Okay,
facetious
okay,
when I say
take
that.
it to that.
I'm
Take it
being
to that. It's a comparison.
but
In comparison, it
I'm
is
being
easier to
I
vote for the 4-year election than it is to dig into your local election and figure out all that information by yourself.
but how? Well, listen to what I'm saying, fam. Listen to
Real
what.
quick though, like
Go.
don't okay, I'm in the country, so y'all can correct me because I know most of y'all live in like cities. Like in the country, we have like billboards everywhere when the county elections and the mayors and the superintendents come up. Like we see them, we can go to Walmart and I can identify about 12 different billboards of somebody running for a local elective. So I
Well,
mean,
can I?
I'm agreeing with
I want
Moody
to get
Wall
in
on
here
this.
real quick. I want to get in here
No.
with that because what I was going to
What?
say is because what she's saying is true. Because where I live, when they run superintendent and city council, you see their names post, and every now and again you may see a picture. This is true. But what Maurice is saying, and I can dig what he's saying, is that for like the original point you were saying, Mugabe, people in our community politically, for the most part, are retarded. You're just slow. He just ain't got it, right? So not having any understanding and being ignorant to the process, the only thing that they actually know about it It's what they see on TV. If they watching Love and Hip Hop and a commercial come on, oh, Donald Trump this, oh, President that, President this, like, oh, boom. Now you got their attention because they see it. But if they just see a name on a billboard, Stan Lee for city council, they don't just keep rolling.
Nine, whatever.
Who is Stan Lee?
Can I add on to what Maurice said? Can you guys hear me?
Go ahead.
All right. What I want to say is, I just want to say, locally is more important, but here's why it's a lot of work. We oftentimes don't pay attention to the local politicians. Oftentimes we don't. We pay attention to, we hear things about them passing a law, wanting to build a jailhouse like in Oklahoma, or they want to move the jailhouse to the east side. So they're focused on that. But are we looking at the politicians behind that? Probably not. But they'll go out and vote and say, no, I don't want that jailhouse on the east side, and ignore the politician that's pushing it, and probably even vote for the politician that's pushing it while saying, I don't want it, because we're not paying attention to our local political figures that represent us. That's part of the problem. So when you say, do we need white people? White people been telling us for years, bro. Obama got elected because he was all over the fucking news. I remember when he first started running, everybody was saying Hillary, 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 Hillary. I think I was one of the few black people among my peers that was saying, no, I'm gonna go for the black guy. So I mean, let's not act like, oh, well,
the popular vote doesn't get the president elected. And I just want to say that first. The popular vote doesn't get the president elected. And the issues that concern black people the most is the issues that black people are the least politically engaged in. If you're worried about crime and you're worried about police brutality in your city, at the very least, you should know who your district attorney is. You should be adamant about having a district attorney that's not going to be buddy with the motherfucking police like that, even though that's their job because they're a prosecutor. But you should want the fairest motherfucker as possible in that office. But we don't even do that. That's what I'm talking about. It's not about whether a Democratic Party or a Republican Party. Niggas are childish. Black people are fucking politically childish, man. We really want to be told what to do. There's no way you should be black people should be in any city across the country, any city where you have the political numbers, like Ferguson, Missouri, where that boy got killed. There is no way you should have the political majority and your city council is predominantly non-you. That means you are being politically childish. That means you're not paying attention to the shit that's affecting your everyday life. So it ain't about the party, it's about the ignorance in our own people.
I agree, and that's why I feel like from a political standpoint, we kind of need to, from a political standpoint, emphasis on that phrase. We need to kind of follow Atlanta's lead. Atlanta is very into their politics. They make sure they what they had that there was some kind of bill that passed. It was Killer Mike was behind it. How they had passed some kind of bill that says if government contracts are not going to just go to big conglomerate companies, local businesses have to also be included in these big government contracts. So when they built the airport, the big prestigious corporation got the contract, but a black-owned cement company came in and did all the cement work, laid all the runways, built the bill. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I can
like you said,
that.
The key word, Killer Mike.
Yeah.
Like you said, that's the key word, Killer Mike. People know Killer Mike.
There it is.
They're not really supporting the direct government
Killer Mike,
body that's
Killer Mike told them what to do. Like what Moody was saying, Killer Mike told them what to do. They had to have.
But no, that's not exactly, because I've done the same thing here. I've done the same thing, seen a construction project go down and went straight to the developer and said, we need some equity on this project. I can bring you 20-25 bodies to this project. We'll bring them here, make sure that we having an orientation on this day. Like it can be done. You don't have to be Killer Mike to do it. You just have to be engaged in your community. Y'all not engaged in your community. Y'all rather talk about who fucking who and this fake ass gender war and
And
is Diddy going to jail
Yeah, I
and all of
agree.
this other shit.
I agree.
Like
I
y'all
don't think
not
nobody's
you're not
nobody's disagreeing with you, man.
right.
Everybody here in agreement with you. But we're
What
just
I'm saying,
adding on to what you're saying with the whole
what I'm saying is
aspect of Killer Mike.
kicking the can down the road is not doing us any good. It's about being politically engaged. If you see some cranes going up in your community, that means there's some construction going on over there. If there's some construction going on over there, and you got a high young black man unemployment rate, you need to be knocking on some doors. Hey, who's the contractor? You know, have you met your set asides? If not, I can get you 20, 30 bodies here. You know, and they're gonna be like, "Who are you?" "Oh, my name is John Doe. I represent people from the east side of this community." And then you might not even you just might just walked in there, and they gonna be like, "Oh, okay, sure, absolutely." We done it with liquor stores. We went into some of these Asian liquor stores. Like, look, we need some equity. We need y'all to start hiring at least one black person to work here, at least on one of the shifts. Like nobody's challenging this shit. That's the reason why it's not getting done.
Mm-hmm.
You just
Like I said,
you're sitting back
Right.
and looking at shit unfold in front of you.
And what he's saying right now is what Charleston White was saying, and who else? Snoop said it too. Like all of these, like you said, liquor stores and all of these restaurants. Like, nah, y'all gotta sponsor a little league team, a football, a Pop Warner team, or JBL or something.
We're not even asking for equity in this shit. We're sitting back like just woo the da da do da. Oh, it's cool. I don't want no parts of that. We just not. That's political childishness. No other community of people do. No other community of people do that. None, zero, except for our dumbasses. You will let a motherfucker come in and they got $1 million business in your community and you ain't got no equity in it at all. You ain't even got you ain't nobody that you know employed at the motherfucker.
Right.
That's retarded.
Absolutely.
But it going back to the original question. We have to start paying attention to these lower, what we would think lower level government officials who are running. When you see that sign on the side of the road, don't just ride past it. Look at the name, Google it. I mean, we have knowledge at our fingertips. We can Google, we can research. That's what I do. I vote more for them than I do a president any day because I feel that the president is just a face. He's a face to take the blame, take the fall, or take the credit. One of the three. But the local governments, like your mayors and your governors, your superintendents, your sheriffs, those are the ones that we have to start harping on and putting the correct people in place. Because if you haven't noticed that most of the times they govern themselves. The president will be like, "Oh, yep, Texas want to do this? Well, it's up to the governor. Michigan want to do this? Well, up to the governor," right? So we have to focus more on those things as well as what you said, Moody. Why I completely agree with you on what you said as well. I'm just saying that we have to use that in conjunction.
Yeah, and that's just because every election cycle I hear black people talking about, "Oh, I'm not rocking with Democrats, ain't did nothing for us," and that's the corniest shit. It's like I'm tired of hearing that corny shit from us. And then you ask that same person, "Well, what have you done on the local level in your community politically?" They can't answer it.
Exactly.
They can't answer it.
Well,
So it's
yeah.
like at some point. You just got to call the motherfuckers on their shit. Shut the fuck up, ma'am. Shut the fuck up, sir. What have you done at the local level politically? And if they can't answer that, you don't want to talk to them no more. Don't complain about who's in the fucking White House if you ain't done nothing at the local level.
Yeah, definitely.
I would like to reiterate for the new viewers that we got on here. What was our question again, Tim? I forgot.
As the Democratic Party,
As the Democratic
Black
have
America.
passed democratic policies
Oh,
failed the black community.
I think the party.
Okay,
My bad.
so this is what I wanted to reiterate because I want the question to be said first. Brother Muriwa definitely put a nice piece of chunk of meat out there to digest with him saying that it doesn't matter whom black people decide to vote on, they vote will be stupid anyway because they're voting for anything and everything and nothing that is important to the black community. So that means if these guys that don't want to vote Democrat, vote Republican, they're probably doing it for the same reasons that the black folks are voting Democrat with no real substance. And then themselves don't be doing nothing for the community as well. Just wanted
I
to
don't think we've been
give an
actually
overall synopsis.
addressing the
It was that.
action yet.
But I
Yeah,
agree.
the actual question. Yeah, the actual question. I think we've been kind of overstepping because he said democratic policies,
Right.
being that the majority of black voters vote Democrat. Now he's kind of linking this idea of democratic policies, although democratic policies failing Black America. I think that's a more
It,
um
it's a
more
different type of
specific.
question.
Yeah, it's a different type of question than what we've been answering.
One would
Well,
have to
but
compare the Democratic policies to the Republican policies and how it would benefit the black community.
Yeah, I think it would be best if we identify the
yeah.
policies that.
I was about to say that's what you first you'd have to identify what the specific policies you're referring to are, and then you would have to explain what you mean by failing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree.
because that's really blanketed. There's so many contexts and
Well,
nuances to
I
that.
think we could. I think we can judge at least the success and fail criteria based off of whether it's beneficial to Black Americans or not. Like, is this something that Black Americans can take advantage of or not? I mean, we also have to um, own or admit to a certain degree that Black Americans are on the lower socioeconomic ladder. So
Correct.
if it's something that benefits people in the lower socioeconomic ladder, then we could say it's a benefit to Black people. Right? I
Right.
mean,
Mhm.
Well,
less.
since most of us are predominantly middle class, lower middle class to be exact, if it's something that benefits the middle class, it's going to benefit us.
Or how about this? How about if you think about it, the Democrats, what I think between COVID and everything, let's just use COVID for an example. And I'll be careful because I know this goes on YouTube. So we do realize that at one point in time there was an Asian anti-crime bill that was passed due to COVID and the rumors being respectful. So that was passed, but yet every crime bill that we have to try to fight for as Black people never they sit on the desk, if that makes
Mhm.
sense. So it is typically the Democratic Party in which that happens, but it's happened with the Republican Party and they ain't did shit either. So again, that's why I always say left wing, right wing, same bird. None of them really give a shit.
I want to put that under the banner in left wing, right wing, same bird. That should be the slogan for every Black era around YouTube.
But we
Because
also
Well,
have
what I wanted to talk, what
we
I
also
wanted to say as far as policies go, I think they passed policies that complement each other because in the 80s they had the war on crime and the war on drugs that was later complemented in the 90s by the three strike law. So there was Republicans and then being complemented by Democrats. I just like I think the reason policies fail us is because a lot of we don't understand what the groups represent. For example, the Republican Party is super business friendly. We don't have businesses. So we automatically say, "Oh, they not for us. They for the rich people," because we think all businesses is rich people. Like, hey, you see,
Master got the business. We work at the business, right? Master got the business.
It's a
We work
mentality
at the
thing.
business.
Yeah, it's a mentality thing. I think it's more
But
of a mentality thing.
But do we also recognize that in history, it was actually the Democrats that wanted to keep us enslaved and the Republicans that wanted to free us?
Yeah, that
We
was
do
the
know
party.
that, right?
Jim Crow, slavery was Democratic policy. Jim Crow is Democratic policy, absolutely, and from a historical standpoint. And some may even argue, and this is hypothetical, like this is something they argue is that, you know, the whole welfare state is still slavery, still making you dependent on them to serve their purpose, which is Democratic policy, the welfare state.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah. Well, I would like to throw one in there.
I mean, another thing I wanted to clarify, because Mugabe had said something along the lines of middle class. We was all middle class. I was like, hold on. Can we get a wage bracket or a income bracket on what it
Oh,
means
middle
to be middle
class?
class? Yeah.
It depends on your
Yeah,
area.
it's
What I
But
said earlier.
no,
average,
no.
you want
Federally,
an
there
average.
is federal.
No, federally,
Can I
this is
say this,
middle
please?
class.
Yeah, there is there's it's called quintiles. Quintile meaning five. There's five categories. The lowest tier, the second one,
Poverty.
the middle one, which is the middle class, the third one, and the fifth one, which is the upper class. Now it's not what you can Google it right now, Tim, or you can not GPS, it's Chat GPT it. What is the middle quintile for household income? But keep in mind, income and wealth are two different things. Like you can have middle class income as a household and have absolutely no wealth at all as a household. You know what I mean? And you can also have, when you listen to a lot of these elderly people, especially the baby boomers, they'll say, I live on a fixed income. Yeah, they might not have the income, but because they're older and the assets that they've accumulated, they have more wealth. In other words, their home will be worth a certain amount of money. They'll have certain investments that they made in other areas where their wealth puts them in a different category. So it's two different things. Like, what is the median? What is middle class wealth, and what is middle class income? Those are two separate questions.
I can agree with that.
I hope
Does that
so.
answer your question, Maurice?
I was waiting for the actual numbers. I mean, that's all good information
Well,
and
well,
all, but
pretty much what he's
I need
saying is it's
numbers.
kind of subjective. Like, so if I make $50,000, I can make $50,000 a year. But if I spend a certain way, or because of my age, maybe I have a house and maybe I own land, my wealth would still be more than somebody else that owns 50,000 and doesn't own it, don't own shit. They haven't
You
invested
want
in
me to turn it
anything.
off?
They haven't done anything. They're just making
I just
$50,000.
eyeballed
There you
Whereas
go.
I may have a house, I may have land and things of
it.
that
Right.
nature.
Like
All right,
baby,
so
most of the black wealth in this country is tied up with the baby boomers. The baby
We got
boomers
a
have our wealth.
chart right here. If you guys look up, says low income below the line of 12,000. I'm not gonna go on a little dime, the little hundred tiles. Low to middle income is like 25,000 to 45,000. Lower middle income 45,000 to 65,000. Middle income just in general 65,000 to 100,000. So you can make 100,000 a year and still be considered middle income. Upper middle income is 101,000 to 150,000. Upper middle to upper middle to high income is 150,000 to 200,000. High income, high earn mother 200 and 200,000 to 500,000. Very high income is 500,000 to 1 million. Ultra high income is 1 million and above.
That
Well,
didn't sound like that's
you also have to take into context, and this is something that I preach when I talk to a lot of people about things, especially as a stay-at-home mother. You have to think of your debt to ratios. So if you have more debt than what you're bringing in, or you have a extreme amount of debt, then what you bring in means nothing. So if I
What
have
is the
zero
numbers?
debt, well, we won't say zero debt because nobody has zero debt. If you have
Mhm.
minimum debt and you bring in 50,000 a year, you're still okay because you don't have that debt. You don't have a credit card. You don't have the car payments. You don't have X, Y, Z.
Yeah, I mean,
So that's
what
an
you describe
important
as
factor to
net
keep in
worth.
mind too.
Yeah, what you describe as net worth.
Right.
Yeah.
That's where it comes. That's where wealth comes in. Your assets minus your liabilities equals your net worth.
Yeah, like one
What
of
the heck
our
did I do with my
focuses always
So are we
like when
comfortable
folks
saying
get
that
their
we're all
taxes
middle
back,
class?
they go and buy cars. We pay off a bill. What bill can we
Right.
pay off?
Well, I didn't want to take those down until Maurice acknowledged if those were the numbers he wanted or not.
Oh,
No,
okay.
I just want to make sure.
Okay.
I just want to make sure that, like, you don't gotta put yourself out there, bro. Are we all gonna say that we all in the middle class now?
I
Most of
support
us are in the
these
middle
numbers.
class.
No,
Yeah,
we
most
in the
of us are
lower
in the
middle
middle class.
class. Lower
But
middle class.
you're not
Everybody
looking
talking at the
at.
same time. I don't know what you're talking about.
Is
I can
that
hear nobody.
is that 5 quintiles on that chart? I'm not looking at it. Is it 5
Yes, it's five.
categories?
Absolutely.
Yes,
Yes.
it's
Okay.
5 quintiles.
What is the one in the middle?
Upper
The
In the
middle.
middle is
with
65
three.
Not
to 100.
upper, the third
I
one.
know.
If you
Yep.
go from the back or the
Middle
front, which one is
income
the
is
The
third one?
third
65
one is upper middle.
65,000
You mean
to
the second one
100,000.
is lower middle income, where it has the
God.
lower income. I'm answering your
No, no,
The,
question.
no, no.
It's like three of them right here.
You gotta answer his question. You're not answering his
the
question. What's
answer
your
to his question. The answer to his question. The one in the middle, number 3, is 100 G's to 200
No, it's
G's.
not. No. That's not middle. Middle is right there. It says middle income, 65,000 to $100,000. The way they broke down this five
Oh
thing,
yeah, I see it now. Yeah,
right? Middle income, 65 to 100K. That's middle income.
Right.
That's
Yeah,
middle.
right.
this is
Right.
That's
lower middle.
But that falls under the second quintile, not the third quintile.
That's what
Right.
I was
The
saying.
the third wait, hold on, please. Hold on for a second, y'all. Please. I'm not looking at the chart. I need y'all to need. Are you looking at individual or are you looking at household?
This is individual.
That's individual. No, that sounds like household, bro. The numbers sound like household.
Yeah, it did say individual.
Let me see.
No, this is individual.
You say it's individual?
It says for single individual
Okay.
in the
Well,
United
it's
States.
individual then.
Yeah, it's individual. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so the bottom of the real middle class is what? What is it saying?
25
It's saying
G's a year.
25
Okay.
to 45.
No, you're reading it wrong. Listen,
Huh?
middle income is 65K.
Okay,
That is
that
the
sounds about right.
middle income.
That
Yeah.
sounds about right.
Top part of the middle income is 100K. You could forget these numbers, how it listed it. It's wrong. Because
Right.
the way it's titled, right? It says poverty line is 12.8.
Right.
Matter of
Low
fact, is there a
income
date?
is
Is there a date on that?
2021
35.
is the date on
Oh,
this.
So it's
Yeah,
actually a little more now. The numbers are actually a little bit
yeah,
more.
so it's gonna be a little bit more.
yeah.
Can
And
we get
added
When
something
you
that
say
says
inflation
2023? Because
and
2024 ain't come out yet. That's not going to come out to
no,
2024.
that's I understand that. I'm just saying, like 2021. If you think from 2021 to now, a lot of things have increased in price. So
Right.
that 65,000 or that 100,000, you might as well knock like 20,000 off of that just for the cost of inflation, whether it's rent or
But it don't that don't
taxes,
change.
whatever.
That don't the what's considered middle class. That inflation doesn't affect that number.
No, I understand that. I'm just saying,
Yeah,
you know
you're
what
talking
I'm
about net
saying.
worth. Yeah, no, just she's in the world of net worth. I'm just trying to get to that first part of, are we sure when we say middle class, we're actually talking about the same thing?
Well,
But
Because
what
a lot
is
of
your
times
definition? Can
when
you
we have
tell us what
conversations,
you thinking so we can see?
it honestly no, because it depends on the conversation you're having, right? And that's why I wanted to make sure that when we said middle class, we knew we're talking about 65 to $100,000.
right. And I specifically said middle to lower middle class, if you remember.
Okay, so that's 25 to $100,000.
Right. That's us. That's us all day long. That's the majority of us. From about 30 to 80 is where black people at in this country. Up in there. The low ends is the motherfuckers that's in the 30s, 20s,
the high end, or not, and I'm saying average. I'm not talking about the extremes. When you average us out, that's where it is.
That's where the bulk of black people sit.
Yeah, we are blue collar middle class Americans all the way around the board.
Absolutely.
That's who the fuck we are.
I don't think nobody's disagreeing with that.
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
Again, just want to
Yeah,
make sure
there's
I'm
no
clarifying.
disagreement.
All right. Cool.
I mean, at least I'm not.
But that's the stuff that
I'm
we
not
need to
disagreeing.
be. We need to be understanding. Those are the conversations that we need to have. How do you know? Like, we got a bunch of motherfuckers running around here thinking they rich, and your ass is in the bottom of the lower.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we don't even like, if you ask a motherfucker, motherfucker.
Cut out.
Yeah, you cut off, brother.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Your audio is back.
You got women running around here talking about they won't fuck with a motherfucker that makes $60,000 a year. She making $40,000 a year. Like, shit is like, we move retarded as a people. Like, it's not, we don't move dumb, we move retarded as a people. And then when you start bringing out these numbers, it make a motherfucker stand back and be like, oh, okay, I get it now. Okay, this is what the real middle class looks like. Am I even there? And then a lot of motherfuckers go get a reality check, be like, hey, I'm not even fucking middle class. I better leave this motherfucking fake bougie shit alone.
Well,
But we don't understand the numbers. That's why we move so stupid politically, socially, relationships, because we don't understand where we are as a group of people. We're looking at the Rihannas, the Jay-Z's, these celebrities, and because we can buy some of the same clothes that they wear, we think we them. We ain't them motherfuckers by no stretch of the imagination. But
that's kind of what I was gonna add to it. Is it because we prioritize our funds in the wrong way? Are we too busy buying Jordans and Chanel and this bag and this? I don't even know the names of the bag. That's how much I don't buy the shit. You know, are we so focused on trying to keep up with the Joneses that 65,000 or that 80,000 isn't enough? Whereas Becky, let's say just Becky, I ain't trying to be funny when I say this, Becky good with she wants a rooster and some groceries, and she don't give a shit about nothing else, and here's 80,000 last upon last. But we're so busy trying to impress one another by things that don't mean nothing.
I don't know. Becky be liking the high life too.
Yeah, but Becky just do it different.
We be checking out Marisol. Marisol, she
but
knows
like
how
for
to
me,
humble life.
but I'm just saying, like, even for me, I don't buy none of that shit. I don't get my hair done. I get my hair done once a year. I do my hair every day. I do my own hair. I don't get my nails done. I don't buy makeup. I don't buy clothes. I don't buy none of that shit, because you know what matters to me? What matters to me is what we put into this household. That's it. If I want something, don't get me wrong. If I say, Billy, I want this, he's gonna be like, all right, here go the card. Have fun. Here's your budget. Don't go over that shit. And I'm like, all right, cool. But a lot of us were so busy trying to keep up, so that actual salary, it can't sustain you. That's why we're lower class, because we're spending our money on bullshit.
No,
I wish I would buy my son a pair of Jordans. I wish I would.
Unfortunately, sis, that's not the problem. The problem is not
that's a
how
part of the problem.
But it's not. Unfortunately, the problem is not how you're spending the money. The problem is you ain't got enough money. That's the problem. It ain't how you're spending it. That's a conversation about wealth. We're talking about income. Like, niggas don't have the money. They just don't fucking have it. You know what I mean?
But they don't have it, but they're spending it on dumb shit.
But that's not. That's a whole. You're missing the point.
Okay,
if you make $60,000 a year, I don't give a fuck what you still make $60,000 a year. I said if you make 60 grand a year, it doesn't matter what you spend it on. Hypothetically, you still make $60,000 a year. Your income don't change because you spending less or more frugally. You still making that same amount of money.
True. The point is to make
But
more money.
The difference between
hold
a
on.
wealth conversation. There's a difference. There's a difference between a wealth conversation and an income conversation. Right now, we're having an income conversation. It ain't about this. Ain't a wealth conversation. That's a whole different topic. That's what separates. That's what separates white people and black people in this country. That's where the disparity is. The huge disparity is in wealth. It ain't the income. Like the fact that that black people make, I think it's 25 cents less on a dollar than white people do. That's not that's the disparity. Yes, it is. But the real disparity is in wealth. Their homes have higher value than our homes do. They have access to more assets than we do. They might not be wealthy, but they're at least second and third generation upper middle class to where they don't have to take out a home loan to send their children to college. The grandparents is going to pay for college for their grandbaby. Shit like that keeps perpetuating them into another class. We don't have that in our community. That's a different conversation. If y'all,
Yeah, what he
if
said
y'all
is true too. Because Biden, a couple months ago, Biden just came out and talked about trying to pass something about the appraisers need to stop appraising black people homes at lower values, because that's a whole real thing that's going on right now.
Right.
You know, I'm not disagreeing with you. I was just saying the only thing that I was trying to say, like, so for example, this is me being Mrs. Fields' housewife mom. So instead of paying $400 for a pair of Jordans, I might take my boys to Shoe Carnival when I get that coupon that's buy one, get one half off, because I got two sons. And I'm going to take them to Shoe Carnival. I'm still going to get them some nice shoes because I don't want them to get teased in school. But I'm not going to go pay $400 for two pair of Jordans. And it doesn't matter how much money I make. I don't give a shit. If I was a millionaire, I wouldn't fucking do it. That's just me.
Say, I'm gonna give you a different perspective where I could tie what they're saying and what you thinking. Say your son, them bikes in the background. Say one of them bikes break down. You say, son, you do XYZ for whatever, right? They got this app that you pay your kid in, and it'll add to it every time you put money into it. So you put 5, that joint put 2. You put 10, it put 3. You know, and your kid just keep accumulating this money. They take the money out to buy the bike, right? To buy the bike, right? Instead of buying one bike, they buy 2 bikes. Now he sell one. See, that's different than you buying your kids shoes on a discount.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? It's the same mindset it's the same mindset that a stay-at-home mom would think. But here's taking it a little further where we could accumulate some income off of this.
Yeah, it's
they
like
have them type of apps with a whole bunch of shit. And here's another thing before y'all go off of the tangent of what Becky does. Becky does shit like this. For those Louis Vuittons, she'll post up, she'll buy dumb shit, $5, $4 on Temu, post 99 reviews, and keep getting this shit sent to her ass for free, just to post a fucking review on this shit. Meanwhile, we thinking she done bought all, she ain't buy shit. They just got the patience to do the little things that us black folks don't have.
We having way too many different conversations. Yeah, we having way
like
too
I
many.
said,
Absolutely, we're having too many
I was
conversations.
just saying, the only thing that I wanted to say is that as far as income, okay, and I'll be real brief and I'll land my plane. As far as income, as a woman who is married to a teacher, y'all know we ain't rich. Married to a teacher, beautiful home. I never need or want for anything. It is strictly because we don't spend money on bullshit.
Hey, what's up, man?
Period. We don't spend money on bullshit. We get our needs and we get the wants within reason. That's it. And I think that if a lot of us would focus more on that, then we would have more wealth. Again, and I was before I got cut off. So if I say, okay, I'm going to take, if the Jordans cost 400, but I can get 2 pair of sneakers for 100, that means I got $300 left that I could put in my savings account or towards your college education or
And
whatever.
you know what my response would be to that, Jessica. And you know, you my homegirl, and I'm cool as fuck with you. I would be like, no, or we can make my stay-at-home wife get off her ass and go get a fucking job to bring in at least half of what I make as your husband. You need to create more income in your household to change the standard of living for your household. You need to create more income. Like, I don't understand why people you don't create wealth before you create more income. You got to create more income in order to create more wealth. Like, this shit
I
is
agree to
like,
that.
like,
You gotta
I don't
flip that
disagree.
money. Like you
I
gotta flip
wholeheartedly
that money.
disagree.
You gotta flip it. Mugabe, you gotta flip the money, right?
the money you
I
gotta
wholeheartedly
get some.
disagree.
You got to have more re-up.
Hold on.
Yeah, you gotta flip the money. Like even if
Okay,
you
hold
save
on,
it,
hold
what are
on,
you doing with
hold
it?
on, hold on, because I know this is you know, other people see this, so let me defend myself and my husband and my household.
See,
Before I
no,
gave
please,
birth,
you've been doing it all day.
no, you gonna give me my moment. Hold on, you gonna give me my moment.
Give her moment.
Before I gave birth to Momo, which was in what 2021, it's 2024. She's 3.5. She's going to pre-K, hopefully, if we get approved for it, because you got to have like a certain income bracket to get approved for it. When she goes to school, oh, you best believe Jessica's going back to work. Before I had Monica, I was the store manager for AutoZone as well as Advanced Auto, and I made more than Billy, and I brought my husband my check. So please don't ever misunderstand what I'm doing right now. I stay home
That's
because
what
I have a young child.
It's not you. Why are you personalizing the conversation? It
Because
wasn't
you
about
just
you.
said it to me.
Oh my
You
God.
literally just said, did he not?
Ding, ding, ding,
It was
ding.
an example.
All right, hold on.
but
Hold on.
okay.
Referee stepping in. Hold on. The situation is that once, like, people misunderstand it. Like, the ideal situation is to have a stay-at-home mother. This is your ideal situation because people are thinking way too much about eating the fruit and not planting the seeds so their children and their grandchildren can eat from that fruit. Which means you may have to sacrifice a quality of life now and invest in the children for the future. Like, I don't know what else.
We don't got the economic
Thank you,
foundation
Marie.
for that. Like
No,
I can understand what the ideal is, like what you want to happen, but we all can't do it. We all can't. Some can do it.
Hold on. But what Maurice is saying is so true. Do y'all think that I don't want to go out and go shop and buy whatever the fuck I want to buy whenever I want to buy it?
That ain't even the conversation.
Hold on. I'm not finished. I'm not finished. I'm replying to Maurice. He is absolutely right. It was a sacrifice that I made because we had young children, and it was more important for me and my husband. He was in agreement. This was not something that Jessica said, that I would stay home while I.
Okay, well, let me ask you a question because
Hold on, Jessica. No, I'm not finished. You don't like when I interrupt you, so don't interrupt me.
Jessica,
let her get it out.
God damn.
You can't just
this
cut
ain't
off in the middle
about
of
you.
a conversation.
It is about me because you directly.
You brought up single mom. She's talking about what it is about being a single mom and the choices that she had to go through to deal with the whole.
Stay at home mom. Stay at home mom.
Stay at home mom.
On
Stay at home mom. She's not a single mother.
Yeah, oh my bad. Stay at home mom. My bad.
All I'm saying is that I worked. I made 6 figures at my job. I made more than my husband. But when we decided that when we had young children, I would stay home. Do you think I wanted to give up my 6-figure job? No, I
This ain't
wanted,
about
hold on, I'm not
you.
finished.
Let her
Do you
finish.
think I wanted to give that up? I did not. I wanted to contribute
get
to
what
the
you're saying.
household. I wanted to do things, but I knew what was more important. So just like he sacrifices, I sacrificed it as well. So for you to say that was really rude and disrespectful, even though you may not have been talking to me personally, but you were speaking in general about women who decide to do that. You think that I want my husband working his ass off to pay all the bills? No. And
Okay,
as soon as I hold on, and as
come on
soon as
now,
I am
for real.
able to, hold on, and as soon as I am able to, when Monica goes to school that we don't have to fucking pay for, because that shit's ridiculous, to pay $1,800, $1,600, $1,400 a month to send your child to daycare, that's half your fucking pay. Once she goes, I will go back to work or open my own business to support him and build our family again. What
All
is
right,
wrong
now
with that?
the overall point of what I was making, Jessica, before you somehow got offended for some shit that was not about you directly, you got offended on your own about that shit. That's the first thing I want to say. The point that the overall point of what I was making is that young black people in America, we are in the middle class at best, the overwhelming majority of us. We don't have time to be having these weird conversations about whether or not you go be paying all the bills, and you can't fuck with me unless you taking care of everything, and I demand to be a stay-at-home. Yeah, of course you're gonna be a stay-at-home mom when your babies are first born and before they get into grade school. Of course, that just makes common sense. But I'm talking about the average black couple out here. That not you, 40-year-old Jessica, not me, 50-year-old Mudiwa, not anybody else. I'm talking about these 25, 26, 30-year-old people that's fledging their way into adulthood. They cannot afford to have them that old school mentality. That's why I brought the numbers up. The numbers are saying that they need to work together as a team if they want to be successful, and not just look at the end. You got to get the income before you get the wealth. That's my overall point, Jessica. It was never about you personally. Anybody that knows me knows this is what I preach all the time. This ain't about nobody. I got a fucking chart that I look at every day saying, damn, how do I get into this next quintile?
Right.
What do I got to do to put myself in this next
What
quintile? Because I'm looking at
what
it.
he's talking about, my bad, but what he's talking about, because you rambling, is what I was talking about earlier, Maurice, when I was talking about, man, that world I was talking about. That's what he's saying, that these young kids need to understand that the world they live in is not the world we lived in before. And if they come together as two individuals making median incomes as a combined income, that would firmly settle them in the middle class at a young age, to where they could build.
Right.
By the time they get 40, they be to hit the next bracket up. Boom.
Right.
Just that'll go ahead.
Yeah, if I can respond. I don't disagree with that method. The issue is because I'm basing this more off of my personal anecdotal experience. Because I grew up in a home where both my parents worked. I barely saw either one of them. I was mostly focused on raising myself. So we got to understand, when we do this, mom working, dad working, who's raising these kids? That the kids are our future. It sounds corny as hell, but it's the truth. The kids are the future. Nobody's raising them. You end up pawning them off to something else. Some of them get raised by the streets. Honestly, it's probably not even too much different than having a single parent. It's
I got
slightly
an
better.
objection.
No,
I'll give them
bro,
that
that's
credit.
like
It's slightly better.
that's
No,
an extreme,
said
bro.
it's.
That's an extreme. That
I said it's
did you
slightly
go to
better. It's
university?
better. I'm not saying
Did you
single parent is
did
probably
you
the
go to
worst, but
university,
it's better.
sir? Did you go to university?
I dropped out, but yeah.
Oh, Okay, so you went to university. You were able to go to university. Why? Because did you go on a
Yeah.
academic scholarship, or did you go on a
No, I
sports
paid my own
scholarship?
way.
Or you paid
I
your, or
paid
your
my own way.
parents helped paid your way?
I paid my own way.
Okay, all right, all right. Well, that you're a different animal, because if your parents
I
was
know.
out there busting their ass, if your parents was out there busting their ass to provide for you, one of the things they were busting their ass for is so you can go to university and have a better life than them. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I don't know what they were doing with the money, but if they were on each other's team and they had children,
Maybe if there
they
was
were saying,
maybe if they was clipping enough coupons, maybe if they was going to the swap meet, maybe this is the stuff that Jessica was talking about,
"Nah, I don't
right?
know.
All right,
I
I
don't
want
know."
to. I would
I
like
don't know
to.
either.
I would like to wrap up the show because we had our 2 hour mark. I'm sorry, you guys. Last remarks on this one. I'm gonna start it off. My last remark on the because this we don't have an overall topic, so we just want to start off with what we was last talking about. So I don't know. I don't know which one is better. I could say which one is suited for whomever what you want your future to look like. I think that to be able to have a mindset of a stay at home mom, and this is what you want in your future, you will have to definitely have the finances to do so. So the finances has to be there so it can happen. And with the cost of living and raising children, that is very, very hard to put on one person's income. Um, and the downside to that with two parents working is having to deal with the child outside of work as well, which Jessica has talked about what her husband do after work as well. You know, where you talked about, Maurice, how you was basically kind of, you know, doing a lot of things by your fucking self because neither one of them was home and things of that nature. Um, like I said, man, I definitely would say your money got to be up to definitely have a stay at home mom. I don't think that a lot of young folks is going to be able to do that. Then that's when the things that Moody, why your background is so wild, brother. That's where the manosphere and a lot of things of that nature comes into play when they're talking about dating guys that has a little bit more money, and that's when age come into play with women. Are they going to still have children around at Jessica's age versus having women? I mean, having children. I'm sorry, around when I started having my youngest child, 21. So that also plays different nuances in this whole gaining income thing, and when you're cutting your income off, and when you're trying to double up the income that is lost because you got two adults that was working before they entered this entity, and now one is not. So that it's an income loss in that situation. So I would think about that nuance as well. But since someone is talking about everyone is talking about experience. I noticed one of you guys said that Jessie said that she was waiting for her youngest to go to school, free school. And I pay me and not just me, not me and the father pay for our child to go to school. And when she say you are paying like $1,400 a month, that's almost $4,000 a year for your child to go to school. That shit is expensive. And that's so my kid can't and will not go to public school. So that shit is expensive. Not to mention that I'm sure where Jesse lives, the public schools are better
Did you
because
say
they pay
public school?
more
I'm
to live
sorry.
there. Yeah,
You
public
said
school.
public school?
For my
'Cause
kid not to go to public school, I pay 1,400
oh,
a month. So my
so that
kid
they
go to
don't go
public
to
school. Yes.
okay.
Because either you're paying for your kid to go to a better school or you're moving out that community so they could go to a better public school.
Fair enough.
So these are certain nuances that we're talking about that has to deal with what Moody was saying with income. You have to have this income from either the jump or start accumulating it. And that's where the two parents will have to have a dual income household, especially if they don't have that shit before they became a household. I'm gonna switch the conversation around the board. I'm gonna go to my left. Maybe y'all right, but my left. Timotheus. What's your last remarks?
My last remarks on all of this is just, I think this current state that we in, like we were saying, the fake gender war and all of that, these men saying there's no benefit to getting married to girls and girls saying there's no benefit to getting married, no benefit in having kids and all of that. I think in regard to our community, I personally think this mindset and what we have right now, this climate is the culmination of all the white supremacy stuff behind it. If the goal was for them to tear down the black household and all of that, this is the culmination of all of that.
Yeah, this is the debris of that. Yeah. Moody, why? What's your last remarks?
Come back to him.
All right, we're gonna come back to Moody. Why? Mr. Fields. Mr. Fields. Mrs. Fields. Because Mr. Fields ain't on this motherfucker. He'll never come to our lives. I know. Mrs. Fields. What's your last remarks?
Oh, I guess because I came in so late. Yeah, the last one rubbed me the wrong way a little bit. I ain't gonna lie. But let me say, I do want to say this. It is possible to achieve your goals if you want your wife to be a stay-at-home mother. I personally think that, and this is me personally, it's a blessing. I get to see my children off every day. I get to be with Monica every day. I get to greet them when they come home. I mean, it's a true blessing to me. I know it's not for everybody, and that's okay. And I know everybody can't do it. But I will say this. If you can budget, if you can reduce your debt, if you cannot spend money on dumb stuff that you don't freaking need, you can actually make it happen if it's really what you want to do. Now, if you want Gucci bags and you want to go do all types of stuff, then yeah, you might want to go work, because that man's not going to be able to do all of that on his own if he is not, in fact, a high earner.
Yeah.
But it definitely can be done. I don't want women to think that, oh my God, it can't be done. It can be done if that is really what you want to do. And as far as what Tim said, as far as marriage, I think that is one of the things that, as he said, it's another attack on just demolishing our nuclear families, where they're led to believe that marriage is nothing but a piece of paper. And the old saying goes, money is just a piece of paper, but you go out and work hard for it every day. Marriage makes a lot of difference when it comes to establishing a nuclear family. And again, that might not be for everybody, but I really think we need to kind of get back to the basics on that. And that's, I land my plane.
I'm gonna go up to Mr. Maurice.
Yes, ma'am. So I'm super pro marriage, but unfortunately in this day and age, people have no clue what marriage is. They don't have the slightest idea of what it is to be married. And attaching yourself to somebody that doesn't know what marriage is will ruin your life. It will severely ruin your life. So pick that and do what you want with that. The ideal within a marriage, though, is to have a stay-at-home mom. That is your ideal. Because in that area, everything is balanced for projecting your legacy into the future appropriately. Now, clearly, income-wise, not every unit can do this. And if both have to work, then both have to work with the ideal of heading towards a stay-at-home mom. That's what you need to be working for. Or even if you can step it down where mom is working part-time and doesn't have to hold down a full-time job as long as you. So that way you're creating this scenario where these kids are not out here taking care of themselves. That it's not going to perpetuate your legacy appropriately. And we're going to end up back in this unnecessary cycle of people not knowing how to make relationships work. I'm thinking 3, 4 generations down. My generation is done. Whatever this generation is dictated by was what was ever done the previous generations. That's how it works. Of course, there's decisions that we make now that perpetuate a certain reality, but you start raising your kids at 14. That's the reality. The stuff that you're dealing with and doing with, you start doing that, whatever you're being exposed with is going to be the reality of your kids when you eventually have them. With that, I'm done.
I'm gonna swing back and end it with brother Mugabe because we skipped you. He was on mute. Moody Wild, what's your last remarks?
Hold on. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yep.
Can you hear me?
absolutely. You are loud and clear.
Okay. Well, my last remarks is real simple. Know the data. Know the data with anything that you're trying to get involved in. Know what it takes. Like, no one in their right mind would start a business with another person and not understand what equity they bring to the table. And I when I say bring to the table, I don't mean it in the way these niggas be saying bring something to the table. I don't mean that. I mean, when you're in a marriage, a relationship is a business. First and foremost. Family is the first business structure. First and foremost. It costs $50 a month to be in my family. Yeah, I know that sounds crazy to some of y'all, but me, my dad, my brothers, we got an account. It costs $50 a month from everybody, every man in my family to be in my family. Period. Because we understand that at some point we might need that pool of money to do something else. I think a lot of people are they're moving on a business model that the world doesn't exist. That model doesn't exist anymore for most of us. For most of the real world, the dollar don't buy shit. You can't the days of dad going out there and having a mediocre job and able to support 5 kids and buy a house and take 2 vacations a year and buy his wife something nice off the catalog. Them days is long gone. The money does not spend like it used to spend. You need a business partner out here, young man. And I'm talking to the young men. All of that thinking that you need something else, it's not going to work ever. Because what's going to happen for the most part? While you out there breaking your back to take care of your family, guess what she's going to say? You're not giving me enough time. That's what she's gonna eventually say. You're not giving me and the kids enough time. Earlier in the conversation, I don't remember who said it exactly, but somebody said that the guy wants to come in and decompress for about an hour or so before dealing with the kids. Yes, give that man some time to decompress.
That was
Give him,
me.
give him some time to decompress. Yes. Men, if he's the sole provider, yes, he needs some decompression time. And it's like nobody is paying attention. Like nobody is advocating for men. Nobody is saying. Nobody is understanding what men go through. Why do you think our grandfathers and great grandfathers died at 55 years old? Because they was taking care of a whole fucking family. Everything was on them. Them niggas killed over from heart disease, strokes, all kind of shit. Drank themselves to
He was
death,
taking care of
all
two
kind of shit.
families. He was taking care of that family and the family he had around the corner
But
down the street.
the point of what I'm making is them men worked themselves to death trying to do what they thought was the honorable thing. We don't live in that world no more. And that's I'm just being honest. Like, yeah, shout out to Jessica and her husband Bill and they lifestyle that they have. That's great.
Billy.
That's fine. That's dandy. But that's not the reality for most black people in America. It's not. So you can't sit up here and expect to have that. That woman go leave your stupid ass. If you sit up here talking about, woman, I need you to stay at home and raise these kids while I go to work. As soon as you tell her no a couple times, Jessica got married as a mature person. I'm talking about these people in their 20s. They're not ready for that lifestyle. They're not ready to live in the fucking woods. They're not ready to go hunting and fishing. They're not ready for that shit. Come on, y'all. Like, let's be practical about the things we say. And I'm gonna close with this. Know the data. Know the data. Understand what you're getting into. Know, Sister Keisha said, it costs $1,400 a month to send her kids to school. Somebody got to go out there and get that 14. Like y'all not even paying attention to the world y'all live in. Like it's like y'all like walking around just aimlessly staring at the sky, talking about, oh, I'm in love. I just want this to work. I just want this to. No, pay attention to the data. Pay attention to the numbers. It don't change. And with that, I land the plane, y'all.
Thank y'all for joining the panel. Thank you for coming once again. This has been another more Conversations with the Average Black Man.